Welcome to Book Time with Ryan. I am Ryan, and today I'll be doing a review of Martha Wells's Fugitive Telemetry. The Murderbot Diaries. This is book number 6. If you remember my last video. Cool, good job. Wait, was it my last video? Yes, it was my last video. I discussed Network Effect, which was book number 5, and I was a little confused about the continuity between the two because it felt like this one came before this one. Although this one is listed as book number 5 and this is listed as book number 6. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. Also, Network Effect was published in 2020. And Fugitive Telemetry was published in 2021. And I am pretty good at this math thing. 2021 comes after 2020. I thought this was after this, but in reading it, it felt like this was actually before this. And you know what I did? I reached out to Martha Wells on Bluesky and I asked her. And yes, this is book number 5 and this is book number 6. But this book, in the continuity, the timeline for the books comes first. So this was written first, published first, but this actually comes first in the series. And that makes more sense to me because of what happens in this. Go back and look at the review for Network Effect. It's not going to ruin anything. But this book was an example of our friend Murderbot, a security unit, getting more and more used to Preservation Alliance, all the kind of operations there. This is also, it has a different feel than a lot of them. It's shorter, like the ones from the box set of 4. It has 168 pages, so it's not super short, but it's shorter. What's different about this book to me was it really took place in one place. It took place in one location. Ish, kind of, at the Preservation Alliance station, and a little bit off of it. And it felt more like a mystery. I'm not going to, this is going to be a difficult review because I don't want to give too much away. What happens in this, we start off, there's a death. In the station at Preservation Alliance, many parts of the galaxy, that would not be a big deal. In this area, it is, I think of Preservation Alliance as kind of like a hippie commune. They have a barter system on the planet. At the station, they have barter and they have a hard currency. But we have Murderbot, who is a security unit who has hacked his governor module, and he is watching out for his favorite human, Mensa, who was president. She may still be president at this point, or like leader of Preservation Alliance. And he's scared that there might be hits out for her, or hits out on her from Grey Chris, which showed up in other books. That's what kind of confused me because in this book there were attempts taken. In this book they were just theorizing they could happen. So they find a dead body and they don't know who it is or why it happened. And they're concerned that it could be something related to Grey Chris and therefore could be a threat to Mensa in some way. Whoever did it, are they still on the station? The station does not have great surveillance. Probably it would feel good to have the surveillance that they have for somebody who doesn't want to have a lot of surveillance over him. But for our sec unit, for Murderbot, he wishes there were more cameras. And they have trouble figuring out who this person is that died because it's really hard to figure out the name. They're not from this planet. They're not from this system. So eventually they do get more and more information. Murderbot is kind of brought into the fold, within the fold of station security personnel. They're not comfortable with a security unit, but they're going to get more comfortable throughout this book. And throughout the book, they're basically narrowing down who this person was and then why the person was killed, who killed them. There's human trafficking involved in this book. There's basically trafficking of slaves, although this is kind of like it's almost like an underground railroad for this system. There's an area where humans are slaves, and this is a multi-step process to get them out of there and safe. Who died? We'll find out. Who killed him? We'll find out. How did the person die? How was he killed? We'll find out. All that stuff is eventually made clear to the reader, and it's, I think, a really good stop in between the last book, well, the last book, the fourth book, and what is technically the fifth book, although it comes in sixth in the timeline. It's hard to keep referring to that. This fits in perfectly between the fourth book and what happens in this book. And I really enjoyed it. 5 stars. It was really cool that Martha Wells actually responded to my request or my questions about the continuity and the order of these books. And another great book. Also, I had talked about Art was in this book. Art was not really in this book. He was referred to once. Once I got further in the book, it was like, it has to be earlier in the timeline than Network Effect. And it was. So I have one more book, physical book from Murderbot. I'm reading that now. And then that will be the review. And I think there's one maybe available on Kindle. So we'll see about that. 5 stars. Again, Fugitive Telemetry. Great fun book again. And this is Port Authority bot, I believe. I think. So thanks for being here today. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.